Basketball Podcast NBA Finals Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And it's our, Jesus Christ, this is our podcast special where we recap, breakdown, analyze players and teams playing in the NBA Finals from the previous games from the previous day. And Ja, well, no Boston, no Beantown Bates tonight. No Beantown Bates. Because the Boston Celtics do take a 2-1 series lead against the Golden State Warriors as they beat Golden State last night in Boston in TD Garden, their first game in Boston in the NBA Finals since 2010.
Yeah.
But, you know, this was a competitive game. Well, it wasn't competitive until really that third quarter because Boston had a commanding lead for a good portion of that first half, up double digits, and the Warriors found themselves down. And like the Warriors do, the third quarter, that's their quarter. The third quarter should now be named just the Warriors. Because since 2015, that has been their quarter to just explode. Yeah. And just like in their glory days, they exploded in that third quarter. Leading the charge was Stephen Curry. And Stephen Curry, you know, he had 14 in the first half, and in that third quarter, he just said, you know, let me bring this team back in. Yeah. And he just did vibes like a two-time MVP would. But, you know, they needed to play some defense.
They did play defense.
Yeah, in that third, and then they needed to keep playing defense. But they didn't. Well, I mean, they tried, but they just got bullied in the paint.
Exactly. Just like what you said,
they got bullied in the paint.
That's why. Yeah, they got bullied in the paint. Don't get me wrong. That fourth quarter was something to watch. Both teams were showing a whole lot of hustle, heart, and mentality out on the line. You know what I mean, and just doing everything that they can. But I feel like the Celtics, it was more their bread and butter in that fourth quarter, and you could clearly see it because the way that they knew that they messed up in that third quarter. Let's just be honest, and they've been messing up in this third quarter since the finals began. You know what I mean? Even with that comeback that they had in the fourth, in game one. In game one, they still baited in the third quarter, and it looked like they was about to be the true B-Town Bates in the third quarter because they legit made the Warriors take the lead. But that fourth quarter came, and I don't know what it was, but big contributions on that defensive end, staying true to what their mentality is, helped them drive through and push through in this fourth quarter. And it stuck like that. And the Warriors just squandered, I felt like. I'm not going to say they squandered, but because they didn't, but the Celtics found a way to limit them. But my thing is with the Celtics is just, I feel like they were sluggish at times in certain moments when they shouldn't have been sluggish, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That makes complete sense. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Kind of like they're moving too slow with the ball.
Exactly. Moving too slow with the ball. And at times on the defensive end, they made a mistake in which all these pick and rolls coming at them, they didn't know how to really move through it, or they don't know how to really close up. I'm like, they giving Curry and Clay wide opens. I'm like, okay, now you're just trying to lose this series. It's like you don't even care about the championship anymore because you just let two of the greatest shooters that I don't know that God has ever created, like legit put together, be on this green earth, and you just like letting them get wide open, like as if they're not gonna make it, like as if they like freaking Charles Barkley at the 3-point line.
You made a few, but I mean, yeah, you're right on there. Like Al Horford, you got to come up on the screen when Curry's has the ball and does screen and roll. I mean, you're not in the picture. I mean, if this was like, 10 years ago and it was a high screen and roll, then yeah, that would make sense. Not a lot of players shoot that deep.
Exactly.
Stephen Curry could. So you got to step up. You got to come up. And then on with Clay, and Clay, respect to Clay, because we had mentioned how he was struggling and he needed to step up in order for them to have a chance in the series. And he did that in game 3. He had 25 on the night, kind of slowed down a bit in that fourth, in that third quarter, because that was more kind of Steph's quarter, but still, he did his thing. And that was because of the screen and rolls or off-ball screens for Clay, more on-ball screens for Curry. But off-ball screens for Clay, where they just got it and he was just lining them up.
Exactly. And it was beautiful. Like I was kind of joking on my mom. We need to change his name from Game 6 Clay to Game 3 Clay, because he got out that little slump that he was in. Well, let's hope and pray he could keep it up, but he got that little slump that he was in the past games and a little bit throughout these playoffs. But you could just see it's like whenever he had like a small window of opportunity, once he let it fly, and his release was quick, like not Curry.
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
it was quick.
You can't even block that.
Exactly. So the moment he released it, you knew that 9.5 out of 10, that was going in. That was going to be.
I was saying, like Jaylen Brown is right there. How is he not blocking it? But Clay's release is just as soon as he catches.
Exactly.
Like in one fluid motion. It's like you don't even have time to react.
Exactly. And it's unfazed. And like things like that scare you. And I felt like, and I thought that was going to demoralize the Boston Celtics a little bit with the shot making of Curry and Clay, whether it was on or off the ball, and along with the fact that, again, they're building up this comeback and they can't get shots to go in, because it was also a point where like you could see a little bit on the body language of Jason Tatum when he missed the layup in transition after they got the steal, and he got frustrated because he felt like he got fouled, and you could just see, and I'm like, they getting frustrated. This may break them, but luckily it didn't. Luckily they stuck with their hard-nosed mentality, their blue-collar mentality, and they continue to work at it.
That's credit to this Boston Celtics team. I mean, they're in the finals for a reason. They faced adversity before. They've been down in games before. They've been down in series before. So this is nothing new to them. Mm-hmm. So they understood that, okay, Golden State got their run. And we just gotta keep them at bay. We gotta stick to our game plan. We gotta play our game. And we had mentioned before the weaknesses of Golden State. We kind of mentioned this in the Grizzlies-Warriors series, dating all the way back. That's when it started. One of their main weaknesses is paint presence. They have none. Mm-hmm. And the Celtics exploited that. Whether it was them scoring, going at will offensively, Marcus Smart was just bodying them. Poor Steph. He was just bodying them. I mean, it was kind of taking advantage of Steph on offense. I'm not gonna lie. It was just kind of taking advantage of little poor old Steph.
Well, Steph is not an all-world defender or anything, but they should. There's no disrespect. It's like,
anytime.
Just imagine if he was though. That would be he would be the greatest player of all time for that.
But unfortunately for Golden State, he's not. And they were taking advantage of poor little Steph. He was looking frail out there. He was looking small.
Exactly.
And they got severely out-rebounded because they don't have any rebounders. They don't have any guys to compete with the big men of Boston. They don't have anybody that compete with Al Horford and Grant Williams. And credit to Robert Williams. Now that we go on the defensive side of things. Robert Williams had the best game of his life, and they needed that from him. Defensively, he had 4 blocks? Mm-hmm. Anything that came his way, he was blocking shots. He had 10 rebounds, he had 8 points. I mean, this is why he is such a key player in this rotation, such a key player for this team, and why when he was in and out in the playoffs, they were kind of missing that, even though they were still playing great. Now you see his impact and what he can do, and especially highlighted against this Golden State team that don't have a big man, that don't have an inside presence, that don't have a paint presence.
Exactly.
So, and this is a bad look for Golden State, because they if Boston can keep doing that and keep taking advantage of that, they might lose this series. I mean, I've said it when breaking down in our predictions that that's how Boston can win.
Yeah, they could win like that, but they gotta understand. But I think what's killing them right now is the obvious is something that they probably can't really contain, and that is the
Rebounds.
Warriors quarter.
Oh, the Warriors score. Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's what's destroying them because it's like I don't know what it is, but the Warriors are like a different kind of beast the moment the third quarter hits, and it's just like it's like the boss is like, don't get me wrong, like in my opinion, to be honest, outside of game one, I felt like Boston have been close or been the better team in all of the other quarters except for that third quarter. And it's like that's the one that's just killing them. They've been really great in each and every quarter throughout these series, like except for that third one. And the third one is what's killing them because you want to have an advantage in each and every quarter or make it like kind of equal. But I don't know, but that might be their extreme downfall. They got Ime Doku, who has been doing really good still this series, is gonna have to find a way to get his team to be more disciplined and trying to limit those third quarter runs because it's like the moment the Warriors get a third quarter run, the Boston Celtics look like they don't really know what to do.
And on the opposite side of the Warriors, they really have no answer for the rebounding of the Celtics. And like I said, they got severely out rebounded, and I'm talking more so on the offensive rebounding side. Okay, like you do not get to expect what hurts. Second chance opportunities hurt a lot more. So if the Warriors don't get their own offensive rebounds, okay, just go back, play defense, set your defense, fine. But when you can't get the rebound and then try to score on the other end, and you're allowing the Celtics to get their own and score, that is how you lose the game. And that was a big portion of how they lose this game. And when you have like four players that has 3 offensive rebounds, Al Horford had 3 offensive rebounds, Jaylen Brown had 3 offensive rebounds, Grant Williams had 3 offensive rebounds, Robert Williams had 3 offensive rebounds, and all of them have at least 5 rebounds, 7 rebounds, 9, 10 rebounds. I mean, and they're getting all the loose balls, especially in that fourth.
Yeah,
they get all the loose balls. You can't win games like that, no matter if you have a very strong third quarter, the Warriors quarter.
Exactly.
So I think that's something that the Warriors need to find a way to kind of work around. They're not just gonna randomly just start, doing something that they haven't done all year. They're not just gonna randomly become a great paint presence, post defense team. They're not just randomly become a great offensive rebounding team, especially against the Celtics team. But they got to find something else to counter that.
Yeah, well, where's Wiseman? But
yeah, I was thinking about it too. I'm like, damn, Wiseman would be great in this situation, but he's not there.
Yeah, but also one strength I will give them, or one thing I did like that they did this game is, I don't know what it was, but it's like we've been talking about this all year in terms of what the Celtics and how suffocating their defense is.
Yes.
In terms of getting plays by being physical. But I feel like Golden State kind of did that with Jason Tatum.
Yeah. Until Jason Tatum,
Exactly. They until he did what he had to do in order to improve court, and he realized and he solved the puzzle. But the Warriors was basically taking a page out of the Celtics book of defense. The way that they was playing him physical. They wasn't trying to get him anything. They was bumping him. They was getting him to in uncomfortable situations. You could see Tatum did not look comfortable. He did not look polished in moments where, to be honest, he looks extremely polished. And I feel like that was a good thing. And I feel like that's the reason why it was a closer game than what it was, and why the reason the Warriors was also able to bounce back with their third quarter thing is because of the fact, like, in my opinion, I feel like with Tatum, which he had a good game, he eventually got it back together. But if he would have had a good game from start to finish, I would look like this is a blowout because everything else is connected. It's just that he's your main guy is the missing piece.
Well, it did end the blow anyway. They won by 16. But you mentioned, Tatum, he struggled, but still finished with 26.
Exactly.
So that's all you. And the big three of Boston were all big time in this game. Just mentioned Tatum. He had 26, also had 9 assists. And then he has some help from his co-star, Jaylen Brown, who had 27 and 9 rebounds. And then they had some help from the Defensive Player of the Year, who's become a third option for them in Marcus Smart, who had 24. I mean, we've seen this before. And when all three guys are scoring like that and are cooking, there's no chance. There's no chance.
No, there's no
Because not only are they doing that offensively, now they also have defense as well.
Yeah.
Which they also did in this game. And credit to the Boston Celtics defense. They held the Warriors to 11 points in the fourth. And that's how you win a championship, ladies and
gentlemen. And Draymond, please keep your freaking mouth shut. This is like...
Also, Curry did get hurt in that fourth with Al Horford kind of rolling on his ankle. Now, if he is if he's playing hurt, they don't win this. They don't win this series. I'm sorry to say.
I think it was a little bit of a. I think he's gonna shake that off, though. In my opinion, I feel like he's gonna shake that off. It was scary, but because like shit, Al Horford is a behemoth compared to freaking Stephen Curry.
I know, and Curry looked like he was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
If Curry is playing hurt, then I would change my pick. Because he needs to be 100%. And maybe he's not even 100%. To be honest, all these players and the role they had to take to get here, I doubt anybody on either side is 100%. But if he's less than 90,
well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Out of all the players on both sides, the most impactful one is Curry, and if he's the one who's extremely hurt, this series takes a big momentum shift.
But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. But great win by this Boston Celtics team. The big three stepping up, defensively holding the Warriors to 11 points and coming back from the storm of the Warriors in that third quarter. Draymond, you need to please just calm down. And credit to the Celtics for their just attacking the paint at will against Golden State and their rebound. Yeah, with all that being said, who do you have in Game 4? Friday. So the Celtics up 2-1. They get this win. They're only one win away from the NBA championship. But Ja, who do you have in Game 4?
The team that you're going for in this finals.
So the Warriors.
Yeah.
I agree. I got the Warriors bouncing back in Game 4. Might change depending on how Curry's injury is, but if he's good, problems, I got the Warriors. Also, maybe if Draymond can, kind of stop bugging.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I think that's kind of affecting his play too, because he kind of was less of not really that much of a factor.
Exactly. Everything that he was doing right in Game 2, he couldn't do in Game 3 because of the fact that he felt like certain things Sean went there well whatsoever and things like that. I understand he's the hardest soul of this team, but please, there's no time to arguing.
And I know Draymond is not a scorer, but I think to ease the pressure off Splash Bros, I think he needs to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
I think they need some point production from him.
Yeah.
Because now we saw Curry had 31, Clay had 25. He lost by 16. So I think Draymond, I know he can score. That's just not his role. Now, when I mean score, he's not putting up 30. But I know he can give you double digits points.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond, you can't be scoring 2 points.
He can't. No, he can't.
To me, I know that's not your role, but 2 points is just not is not enough. And then clearly, I mean, you arguing with the ref 24/7. You feel like you just trying to do everything to be a menace, but it's also affecting your play.
Exactly.
So I think he's just getting the headspace into the game. Stop trying to argue with the ref all the time. I'm trying to start fights 24/7 and try to help your team and play your game. Because he didn't look that good, and he got fouled out too. So he didn't look that good in game 3. Maybe things can change in game 4.
I hope and pray.
Yeah, come on, you don't want the triple singles coming back.
Yeah, he spent too much time on TNT anyways. He needs to refocus.
So come on, but that's our predictions. Game 4, we have the Golden State Warriors bouncing back. Like I said, we'll see what happens with Stephen Curry and his status. Hopefully, he's good though.
Yeah.
But all right, Ja, any final thoughts you have on Celtics Warriors game 3?
Just good job by the Boston Celtics. You know, they did what they had to do. They did the right thing in terms of needing to steal a game on the road to take away home court advantage and find themselves leading in the series. So just keep it up because I didn't want to watch this, but I'm being forced. So keep this up, please, because
you're having the time of your life.
Because if they win, I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do, man.
He said, "Let's go, baby! Come on, yeah." You're gonna be so happy. How happy would you be? Scale 1 to 10 if Boston wins.
I'll be chilling. I'll be fine. They're not Canada. They're not Canada. They're not Canadians, so I'll be fine.
You love the Boston Celtics,
but I love Canada more.
You love Canada more.
Yes. Like, why would I go to a place that, I'd rather go to a Maple Leaf than a Beantown. Like, let's be honest. Like, Beantown Bates.
I was afraid he was gonna say something else, but I think you did.
I wasn't gonna say that.
in relating to Boston, but
I know what you mean. No.
Yeah.
Well, that could play a factor a little bit too, but that happens all around the world, anyways.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you had the star player that 11 championships, and you still act like that. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's end the podcast. All right. Thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure you tune into Saturday's podcast where we recap game 4 of the NBA Finals. It will either be talking about the Warriors tying the series or the Celtics being 1 win away from winning the NBA championship once again. But please be there and be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, support the channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
Also tune into our social medias, our IG and our TikTok.
Yes, and of course, once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
This is the Mind of Basketball Podcast.
NBA Finals Edition.